They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Have you lost weight only to gain it right back after returning to your routine? Did your diet work for someone else but not you? Rockin That ID Life helps you understand your genetic makeup to find a lifestyle that fits your needs. Together, you and RockinThatIDLife.com can focus on your health and meet your goals today. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. If you haven't heard, Center Ice Brewery beer is now exclusively available at beer stores around town, so make sure you pick some up on your next milk and eggs run. That's Center Ice Brewery. Please drink responsibly. That was kind of funny. It took longer to go live on YouTube than usual. And our clip ran out and sent back to the studio.
Yeah, I was
sitting here like, oh.
I was sitting here like, oh, I think we're on.
No, I was watching the YouTube feed waiting for it to go. And I didn't realize the clip was about to end. And all of a sudden it's back on us. I'm like, oops, let's play the intro now. Welcome to Season 11, Episode 2, which is episode number 378 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast and the longest running St. Louis podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to RockinThatIDLife.com and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. It is Wednesday, October 5th, and we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. To interact with the show on social media, just do a search for us. You will find us. At LGB Radio is the handle on the socials. And if you haven't already done so, please like, follow, and subscribe. Appreciate it. I'm Kurt Price. My co-hosts for the big show this evening are Bill Day and Jeff Ponder. The agenda for tonight includes a discussion about, we got some preseason chatter, the diagnosis of Perunovich's injury, and the Blues finally listened to us, and they have announced that they're creating a Hockey Hall of Fame. So we'll be discussing that and who we think should be in. We really should be on the Blues payroll for this stuff. Just give us 3 offices down a hallway out of the way. We'll call it the Hall of Justice. And let us make organizational decisions. Not team-based necessarily, but, like what numbers to retire, and stuff like the Hall of Fame. Because we're ahead of the game.
We'll be in charge of all that kind of stuff. So does that include like in-game presentation?
In-game presentation, yes.
All right, I'm in. Let's do it.
I think Angela Sharp would have a job again if she wants it.
Oh yeah, she'd be our. I don't want to say producer. I guess she could be our producer. She'd be the 4th voice on the show. You know what, sure. Bill? You've been demoted to producer. Angela will be the 3rd voice.
I can't argue with that.
We will we'll also talk about the mess that is Hockey Canada. All that and more on this episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. You ready to talk some hockey, boys? We discussed last week possibly doing a live fantasy draft for our league on this show, but that didn't come together quick enough. So
we kind of dropped the ball on that. Let's just call it what it. Let's just call a spade here.
We left it where it was last week.
Yes, we didn't. Adam tried to have conversation with us. We were like, "Oh yeah, we'll figure it out. We got a whole week till the next show." And then it was 5 days, and it was 4 days, then it was 3 days, and
then it was 6 o'clock tonight. And...
Yeah, I was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah. Literally, it was a mess. Was it 6 o'clock? It was a message from Kurt. What time was that?
No, it was after that. It was
7:39.
Yeah, it was
7:39. Oh shit! Are we doing the draft during the show? We didn't really plan that out.
No, we did not. Because we talked last week about maybe what screen to share, how that would work without giving away queued picks and stuff and all that junk. So we got to figure it out. we'll
Figure it
probably we'll probably do it. I don't know. Try and do it live. If we can't, we'll just do it off air or whatever. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Figure it out.
We'll figure. We could always record it and post it as extra content on YouTube.
That
or
is
something.
true, but we'd still need a way to put it all together and have the. It'd be nice to have the pics on screen. That's all I'm saying. That's. You think there'd be an easy way to do that?
We'll just put a camera over your shoulder and you can just write them out. How about that?
That's no. We need a board. Just do it in person. Just do a big board and slap.
Maybe next year we'll do because I've been to those before. They're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Actually, Jason from Blues Hockey Podcast does one every year, and unfortunately, I left his league this year. But yeah, I think it's always a lot of fun to do it that way.
Some announcements. We got the season preview show that we're doing next week, live from Cardinals Nation in Ballpark Village. That should be a lot of fun. The Cardinals' first round wild card series playoff has been announced, but we're waiting to see if they win that series. And if they do, it'll be a home game on that Saturday. So we'll have to figure out times. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's the official pregame party of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals Nation hosts the official pregame party, and it's inside the Hall of Fame Club on the second floor inside Cardinals Nation. All-inclusive party for 2.5 hours up to the first pitch. A full buffet with stadium favorites such as hot dogs, brats, nachos, entree selections, salads, and desserts, along with a full-service, all-inclusive bar. You can join the rabid Cardinals fan base for what has become a legendary tradition. Game day tradition. The party is interactive with all patrons. Everyone has a chance to play fun games, trivia, random giveaways, and spot a Cardinal legend from time to time. There was someone there earlier this season. Who was it? It was I forgot. It's much shorter than I remember him being. Former
Tito Landrum.
Tito Landrum reminds me of young Tito Landrum. Tickets are available for the official Cardinals pregame party at cardinals.com/pregame. Season ticket holders and Hall of Fame museum members receive $10 off as a thank you. If you don't have that in your back pocket, you can use promo code DJJoe and save $5 on your ticket. So you can follow the Cards pregame on Twitter at Cards pregame or on Facebook /Cardinals Nation. So the tickets are like $40 and you can get $10 off if you're a member of those things, or you can get $5 off. So it's really cheap. And my daughter and I went over the weekend on Saturday that was a blast. Saw on the first and saw one of Pujols and Yachty's, and last game as a Cardinal. So that was a lot of fun. She had a blast at the pregame party. Good stuff. Joe puts on a good show.
Yes, he does. Although apparently he has aged 20 years in about 4 years. That can't be real, can it? He said those images were from 2016.
That's
that
6
can't
years.
Be right.
Well, it's 6 years.
Yeah, but I'm saying, look at how we've aged in 6 years. I mean, we've aged a little, but I mean, he looks like he's put on 20, 30 years in that time.
I thought they're going to say pounds.
Well, that too, but I've done that.
I think maybe he's more I didn't know him back then. Maybe he's more deadpan now than he used to be, because he has a whole persona, right? Where he's just this monotone deadpan humor. And back the old pictures he showed, he was smiling and stuff, and he doesn't do any.
He doesn't smile.
No, he's very deadpan funny. So I think he should maybe change his act and just changes his look. He's all slunched over. It's over.
Maybe he's got like a twin brother, and that used to be the twin brother show.
That's possible.
His name is Mo.
Yeah. Mo and Joe. Yeah.
Mo and Joe.
Jeff, you said the Ponder Cup is open. What does that mean?
Yes.
Available for registration? Okay.
Yep. So we have got things rolling. Still working on getting some pretty good items. We got some good items already for the raffle, but in terms of players, if you're interested in playing, you can play with me. Austin Lynch has signed up again. It'll be a good time. It's I should have the date in front of me. I do not. Let me pull that bad boy up as I keep talking. But yeah, it's in November. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving, the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And 6 teams now instead of 5. Let's see. November 19th. Starts at 11 o'clock, goes till about 10, 10:15, 10:30. All money benefits Be the Match Foundation and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of St. Louis. If you're interested in playing, you don't have to be some veteran, amazing skater. Anybody can play in this. $50. We've had literally guys who have never skated before come out and play in this, and it's a lot of fun. We always have a good time. $50 is the player fee. All goes to charity. And again, for a good cause, it's a good time. Kurt, you've played. Bill, you played in ones back in the day and have come and showed up and enjoyed the festivities. And again, I say this every year. You show up, you buy a beer, you buy a soda. Some of that money is going towards the charity. So just showing up and doing that, you are helping us out. So again, that date is November 19th. It's a Saturday. What else you going to be doing on a Saturday in November? Starts at 11 o'clock, goes all day. And if you want more information on it, drop in stl.com and then just go over to the Stanley Ponder Cup tab right there in the top right.
The Blue Note 5K is this Saturday. Jeff will be there in person. I was going to be there in person, but had some stuff come up, and thankfully was able to switch to virtual for Saturday. So I'll be running it on the bike path near my house. And I'd like to thank Jake, who runs the Blue Note 5K, for helping me switch from an in-person race to virtual. He was very helpful. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it.
Jake Goldsboro, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Came on earlier this summer. We'll have to share that the link to that episode if you're interested, if you're planning on running the 5K for the first time. A lot of fun. I'm looking forward to going. I'm going to have my action cam with me. I don't know how exciting it'll be, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to get video of the whole course itself. And that way maybe because it's downtown this year. It's you go through Market, you go through 14th and 15th, and I think you go down to Union Station. So it should be a pretty fun route. Probably similar to the Race for the Cure.
I wonder if it's similar to the one that was the
All-Star one.
The All-Star 5K. Yeah, I ran in that one, and that was down there by Union Station, and yeah,
probably it's probably the same route, but either way, still cool.
Close.
I'm looking forward to it. Gonna be fun. So yeah, if you're down there, seek me out. Look for me. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Let me know you'll be down there. Let's meet up.
And if you want to,
I was going to say, I feel like I'm the big downer this year, not participating in that, and I just have not had any time to run. And quite frankly, my new neighborhood scares me. It's very, very hilly for being in the St. Louis area.
It is. Well, yeah. I mean, if people know the area you're in,
basically on the bluffs.
It's the San Francisco of the Metro East. It is very hilly on the bluffs. Yeah, it's very out of nowhere too. You'd be driving along, all of a sudden there's hills everywhere. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
good view of St. Louis.
For me, I'm coming off that ear infection I've had. It was awful. I had COVID in June. Really only ran maybe 3 or 4 times this entire summer. Just got back into it about 2 weeks ago, and I'm seeing how I'll do on Sunday or Saturday. Should be interesting.
You're due to get COVID again, aren't you? Pretty soon.
Yeah. I think it's coming up.
Yeah. I mean,
probably by the end of November.
Yeah. We need to get a board, start a pool.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think it's more scheduled than that, and I think lucky for Jeff and all his friends, it's going to be after the home opener watch party at Jason's house. So,
yes,
might be where he gets it though.
Yeah, we'll see. Could be very easily.
Let's see what else we got here. Announcements: 5K, Ponder Cup. Yeah, that's about it. I think we got. The official beers of episode number 378. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is CPrice12, Jeff says JPonder94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Now, which order are we going in again? Because
me.
Okay. And this week, I think this week, weren't our arrangement on screen here? Weren't you on the bottom, Bill, last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
You switched it up.
Yeah. I didn't. It was in the order of how we joined. There we go.
Yeah.
That's how it was, I guess. Because Bill's in the middle. There we go.
He deserves to be in the middle.
It's
Bill's
tradition.
Yeah, Bill's usually in the middle.
As is tradition.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Insert
Bill
sex
sandwich.
joke.
It's a Bill sandwich. As long as I'm on. Never mind.
As long as I'm one of the buns, I don't care.
Not a bottom guy.
I'll take bottom.
On that note, yeah. So are we doing beers? Are we doing beers?
Yeah.
We're doing beers. Do
Yeah.
beers. Go to,
Okay. All right. My first beer tonight, and won't be my only beer, but Ultimate Oktoberfest by Founders. It's one I was really excited about. Found just a couple of bottles on the shelf at Total Wine when I was in there last week. Didn't have time to get it chilled for last week's show, so gave it a good week to chill it, and it's okay. Out of the barrel aged series, it's probably bottom 3 of favorites as far as that goes. It's just something's not working for me. There's some sourness to it that I don't like, but I'll finish
sourness at Oktoberfest. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's no good.
Yeah. Well, I am also going with one of the Oktoberfest beers, but it's one of the better ones for me, at least. Sam Adams. They make a very good Oktoberfest if you've never had it. On tap most places. If you ask for a seasonal beer, a lot of places will be like, "Oh yeah, we got the Sam Adams on tap." So it's a good one.
Yeah. Sam Adams Oktoberfest is how I won my beer fridge last year. So I love it.
There you go.
I've got a St. Louis favorite, Four Hands Chocolate Milk Stout. It's not the absence of light peanut butter variety, but it's the regular from Four Hands Chocolate Milk Stout. And this is actually, I think this is an old can. It's maybe from last year. Tastes a little weird.
Clearing out the fridge.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. We will. You know what? Today in Blues history, is he slowing down with his posts? Because I haven't last couple weeks. He hasn't given us any info, and I feel like we're like, hey, our free content is like sputtering out.
Yeah. What is that? Come on.
I don't know.
We're not paying you to not post stuff.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. I think the last post was on September 29th or October 2nd, something like that.
Jeff, go knock on his door right now.
I mean, I could go in commercial break and be back by the time it starts. That's not true. He doesn't live that close, but he is on my running route.
We will get into some Blues preseason chatter, along with some devastating news about the Perunovich injury on the other side of this break from our friends at Rockin That ID Life.
Every beer league hockey night, I grab my hockey bag and sticks and throw them in the trunk of my car. And the very next thing I do, I mix up a boost of energy courtesy of RockinThatIDLife.com. It's formulated to break up its delivery in 3 ways, which helps me get through all 3 periods of hockey. Phase 1 provides a rapid onset of energy, concentration, alertness, and motivation. By period 2, I'm receiving a dose of sustained energy, increased focus, metabolism, cognitive function, performance, and feelings of well-being, which I need with the way I play. In Phase 3, I'm getting fatigue protection without jitters and crash, an elevated mood, and a reduction of fluid retention to help me make the big play when it counts. This same Tryphasic approach helps me when I drink it during work hours or simply just for a pick-me-up when I need it. Try one of the 4 energy flavors by visiting RockinThatIDLife.com, but make sure to email Dustin at RockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Okay, I have a question, Jeff.
Yeah.
Tryphasic. The word Tryphasic in the commercial, the promo there for Rockin That ID Life. Was that written for you to say, or was that something that you had to use a thesaurus for to look up? I had never heard that word before. Tryphasic.
It is a real word.
I'm sure it's a real word. I know you
say,
wouldn't slip in non-words.
Well, it could be like Shakespeare. You don't know. I mean, I do have an English degree. No, it is a real word. It was in one of the ID Life promos that I saw, so I did
Okay.
steal it.
Tryphasic.
But yeah, it's a
It's a fancy
pretty
word. It's a
Mhm.
fancy word.
Does
Was
he
it mean
pay
like-
extra for that?
Yeah, I know. Complex word clause kicked
Well,
in.
you know, yeah, no
I-
comment. Dustin, be quiet down there. Sorry.
Oh wow.
We're clinging to the sponsors we have. Let's not insult them on the show.
The Matt Harris says the Sam Adams Oktoberfest is underrated. I'm currently drinking an EG with rum. What's an EG? EG with rum. What is that?
No idea.
EG with rum. Come on, Mr. English degree. What's an EG? You just
wait, are you trying to say that English degrees, everyone with an English degrees is an alcoholic?
No,
Because you're probably true. That's probably correct.
no, I'm saying that. Well, that could be true, but I'm saying if
Many
I have
of
a
us-
question about a word and I ask you, you should know.
EG it's probably some type of alcohol. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. But you would be correct in assuming that English graduates are alcoholics because many of us are teachers.
Maybe it's a I don't know, a type of soda. or something.
Teachers and lawyers, which is like two of the highest, right, in alcoholism. Many English, that's like 1 and 2 where English majors go. So we probably,
say-
you know what? Yes, we're alcoholics.
I'm gonna say the leading profession is probably homelessness.
Clip that off.
The leading profession for homelessness, or for leading profession for alcoholism, is homelessness. I will put that up against. Yeah, I'll stand by that. And
Okay.
Ken Morris, Mr. Ponder, is an English literature major.
That's true. He's right. And I also have a minor in psychology, believe it or not, which I never use.
I majored in visual communications with a minor in journalism.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
We probably had a lot of similar classes then.
I don't know why journalism was my minor. I didn't really plan on. Actually, I probably do more journalistic type stuff, like loosely, not like research, but research more so than like out and interviewing, than I do with my Viscom stuff. So
I mean, I do a lot of writing, but I don't. I mean, to be honest, to say that I use my English degree in what I do is kind of a stretch.
If we're given our CV, I of course am going to be the one that has nothing in common with that, and no kind of creative background really. Econ major, philosophy minor.
wow.
I'm learning a lot about you fellas tonight.
I actually do use my Viscom degree quite a bit. I do a lot of graphics work, so that's.
I was gonna say you do
I
some
enjoy
nice graphics work,
Thank you very much.
especially like that beautiful new logo you tweeted out tonight, which is I honestly I love it. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, we talked in the offseason about doing like a little fun mashup with our logo and the old Channel 11 Blues logo they used to put on the screen, because it's their 11th season. Channel 11 back in the day had the Blues on air, so yeah, it'd be kind of fun. And in my head, I didn't really think it through, and I'm like, man, we got words in our logo, and so you got to put it between the two ones for the 11, and it's covering up crap, and you can't see what our logo is. I'm like, oh, this is tough. So it's I kind of changed it to inspired by the Channel 11 logo.
No, it looks good. I think it looks cool.
Oh, thank you. Scott Perunovich is out at least 6 months. The Blues announced that our dynamic young defenseman, Scott Perunovich, suffered a fractured shoulder and will be reevaluated after 6 months. Short of his career being over, this is about the worst case scenario that we were, could have had for this stupid injury that we all feared. He can't catch a break. Good news is that his injury is not related to his other shoulder injury, a torn labrum that he suffered last year due to the same shoulder. So there shouldn't be any speculation of at least a chronic shoulder issue right now. He also recently suffered a broken wrist. The 6-month timeline. Well, that was last year though, last season. But that was before the shoulder.
You know, we need to start with this new restream. We need to start having more sound effects, like a terrible morning show. We need to have the punch out sound effect when your guy gets knocked out.
Okay, all right.
Is there
that would have been perfect right here?
It would have been.
Is there a specific one for Glass Joe? Because that would be perfect.
We need a producer for that, because running the show, running the promos, doing the comments, going through the outline, and then also doing sound bites is tough.
All right, we'll get on that. Austin, come work for us for free. We will pay you nothing.
It's an internship.
We're not even going to give you respect. So, but just know the job's there for you.
Radio interns don't get any respect. So what's the difference? Right?
Yep.
Same thing.
Agree.
The 6-month timeline for Perunovich will have him miss pretty much the entire season, possibly returning for the final week or so before playoffs. Man, I had high hopes for him this season. I probably more so than a lot of people. I really thought he had an excellent chance to be a lot better than people were maybe expecting. And hopefully over time this season, he would have received more playing time in different situations. Because last season during the playoffs, especially, he really only played the power play and a few shifts here and there. So I guess Mikkola will be playing a lot more than maybe expected.
Mikkola, Rosen, I think somebody let's go ahead and talk about that aspect, and we can go back to Perunovich. I think Matt Kessel might get a few looks this season. Not saying he's going to be up full time, even on the opening day roster, but I could see them saying, like, especially if they lose a game or two in a row, and just saying, you know what, let's call this kid up. Let's see what he's got. Like, I could see him getting some looks. And if Perunovich were up with this club, that may not have been this case. So, it's one of those situations where you lose a guy, but it could be a positive for somebody lower on the depth chart who we've all been kind of wondering how he was going to look. So interesting, but I do agree. I think it's the man who's going to be getting those minutes is going to be Mikkola.
Yeah, I think so too. And Matt Harris says he is a big fan of Kessel's play so far in the preseason. I think a lot of people have been. So
he was great last year in the playoffs for the T-Birds.
Yep.
Yeah, Ryan Smith was talking him up early on in camp this year when the Thunderbirds were basically with the Blues, and he was doing some games, just not flashy and just very steady as she goes. So
steady as she goes.
I think I think maybe I guess Mika will get the occasional sit and maybe get Rosen a look, or maybe Kessel, or if there's an injury, I guess we'll see who gets called up first. But Bertuzzo, Mikkola, I mean that's your I guess your bottom pairing, right? So there's not too much doubt with the defense right now, right? As far as who's the 6, because if Perunovich was healthy, right, and Scandella were healthy, we'd have some questions. Well, who are they going to go with? They're going to rotating, bottom pairing kind of a thing, or how's this going to work? Nope. I think the 6 is pretty much set.
Yep. And I think when you look at what was going on early this summer, feels like eons ago, the conversation that Torrey Krug was on the trade block. I don't think the Blues ever really thought, like, okay, Torrey Krug, we can trade him. Perunovich is going to fill all of his minutes and we'll be good. I don't think that was ever the conversation. The conversation, I think, was more Perunovich looks pretty good on the power play, and that's one of the biggest reasons we needed Krug was back there as a power play quarterback. And if Perunovich can step in there, and then we can fill Krug's minutes elsewhere in even strength minutes, that we could probably make him expendable. Now you look at it and you say, thank God they did not trade Torrey Krug, because, again, I think I think though they would be fine if they did, and they've got enough firepower on this power play. But to lose Krug and Perron in one off season for your power play would be killer.
Well,
yeah, and that was the biggest thing for Perunovich coming into the season. How exciting was he in the playoffs last year? I mean, running point of the power play. It's basically all they let him do. But you were hoping that this year he was going to get the exposure to get the defensive assignments and, be given a little more slack to, learn the game, make some mistakes, and, just get that side of his game rounded out. And this injury is just so killer just because that opportunity is now gone.
Well, Krug has a no trade clause, so he unless he wanted to go somewhere, he was probably not going to go anywhere. Actually, and looking at I forgot that Leddy has no trade clause, which is stupid to me.
Yeah, that was the one part of that contract that I really balked at. Like, really, you'll give one to him, but you're not going to give. I don't know. I agree with not giving a no movement to Pietrangelo. But I think if it comes down to it, I give a no movement to Pietrangelo before I give a no trade to Nick Leddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, $4 million and the no trade. So it's a pretty good deal for him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Justin Falk, Torrey Krug, Parayko, and Leddy right now have the full no trade clauses, and Scandella has a modified no trade clause right now.
I mean, I need to look. I'll say I need to look at the rest of the NHL, but 5 defensemen with some type of a no trade, especially this defense, that is shocking. And that right there is something that if Armstrong were to be let go in the next 2 or 3 years, I think that's one thing you definitely point at and say, yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Div by Zero says, doesn't possibly trading Krug depend on whom you get back? Not sure if all if this, then this.
Not sure it's all if
it's
this,
all.
then is. Yeah, it's.
Well, sure, but I think if we did trade Krug, it would be to free up salary for something else. Right?
No,
Yeah.
it would be. It would be 1-for-1 for Jacob Chikrin because that's.
That's what it is. Yeah,
right.
Every Blues trade is going to be 1-for-1 Jacob Chikrin.
Yeah,
and a D'Agostini. Don't forget, D'Agostini's going the other way too.
I thought Stemniak was.
Oh, him too. Yeah,
no, McClement, Jay
McClement, who belongs in the Blues Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was. We can touch on that later when we talk about the Blues Hall of Fame. But that was a funny comment.
I will never make fun of someone who makes a point for something like that, but that one was a little odd. But we'll get to that. We'll get to talk about that a little later.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their favorite players, and they think that we're really played a big role on the team, and your checkers and stuff. And we'll get into it later. They do play big roles, we'll get to that later. But talk about the Hall of Fame. Come on.
We talked last week. This because this happened last Tuesday, I believe, was when the injury actually occurred.
Yeah, it was.
And then we talked about Wednesday. But so we've already said a lot about him in terms of the injury itself. It's still, I think at this point, again, especially looking with how long he's out and again, nothing plays result in injuries all the time. But it's a bad omen when you look at the type of play, again, that caused this injury. It was literally, he had the puck, clears it around the boards, Blackhawks player comes in, finishes his check. Again, barely can even call it a check. He's out 6 months. I mean, it was a nothing play. And with all the injuries he's already had, and I know before the NHL, he did not have a whole lot of injury problems, if any, but this is a big boys game. You're getting big boys out there that are coming at you. It's a lot different than playing juniors, a lot different than playing peewee. So to see this injury happen and to see it just 1, 2, 3 back to back to back with his injuries and how long he's been out, that is concerning. And I do think we have to look at it now because it'll make us feel better about this kind of thing. Let's just plan on Perunovich not being on this team. And when he's on the team, that's just cake.
The hit itself was it wasn't so much the hit; it was the fact that Perunovich put his arm up when he went to the corner to brace it. He puts his arm up like this, and his arm just kind of hits the boards square as he's checked. Which I mean, I guess it doesn't take much, right? To fracture a bone, and if he doesn't put his arm up awkwardly like that, I'm sure he's fine. But he puts himself in a weird position, and the check comes in, not a big check, like you said, but his arm was in an awkward position, so that you might consider it a fluky kind of play, in a way. But it's I don't know. I mean, it's one of those.
Well, and
we
things. Talked about how hard it was to see, like, because there's no replay. There's only one angle of it.
Yep.
I will say, and you guys know this too, probably from playing hockey, those stanchions can be a bitch. Like you hit one of those stanchions in the wrong way, you feel it right away. So it could have just been something where it just rattled him in the wrong way in the wrong spot, and it's just unfortunate.
They also don't give as much as they used to.
No.
Yeah. Or he could have just inherited the Berglund and Tarasenko shoulder. I mean, that just yeah.
Does that mean he's going to take a slap shot and fall on his face? Like Patrick
Probably.
One of the greatest hockey gifts of all time.
Let's hope he's not. Let's hope it's not a Tarasenko situation where he just keeps injuring his shoulder. Now it's not the same injury, but whatever. He's out with a shoulder injury. Man, people kind of brought up Carlo Colaiacovo's name because he was always getting hurt. Not major injuries, right? He'd miss a few games, miss a week or two, and come back. They were like little nagging things that he had a hard time dealing with throughout his entire career. He like played 60-some games for us, like 4 or 5 years, and so he didn't miss a whole season like Perunovich is going to do. But yeah, I remember Colaiacovo having like, oh, he's a scratch this game. And he missed like 3 or 4 games, and that happened like 5 or 6 times a year.
Another one of the probably top 3 blooper gifts in Blues history.
Also, a friend of the show.
Show. And you asked him about that gift too.
I did, and he loves talking about it. He says you got to laugh about it, and I'm with him. I love that. I love that mentality of just being like, hey man, it's out there, just got to laugh at it, right? And just like much smaller extent, I'm sure you guys saw the video years ago where I was like, I'm gonna take my phone out and take video of me skating around Steinberg in this the Winter Classic or the Steinberg Classic, whatever they call it, and the dude rocks me with a slap shot in the ankle as I'm skating around. I know I've showed that video to you guys. Like, that was one of those that's like, God damn it, I'm made fun of this for the rest of my life. And I'm sure he thinks the same thing.
Matt Harris says, I'm on the anti-Perunovich team now. Just too fragile, sadly. I'm not. I think, it's a year and a half of injuries, something like that. So I'm not, or a couple years of injuries. I'm not too, I'm not, I think I said this online even. I'm not on the Perunovich is made of glass train yet. It's I think the doctor called his wrist injury fluky, and he had a torn labrum and a fractured shoulder. And now if he keeps getting hurt, if it happens again within a year, then okay, all right, let's reevaluate this.
But if you're Doug Armstrong and you're looking at I think I made this comparison last week. Robbie Fabry in the 2016 playoffs was money. Perunovich was money last year, and Fabry just fluke injuries. They were, he had one bad injury and then the fluke recurrence, right? Maybe there's something to that, or at least Armstrong's going to think there's something to it. I've got to get value when I can.
Oh, sure. And some players get hurt more than others. I get it, but it's still pretty early in Perunovich's career. I'm not gonna. Maybe it's just me being hopeful more than anything, because you can't predict the future. So I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna hope that he's not as fragile as he has been the past little bit. So
Reminds me of a player that
very well could be.
I know Bill is familiar with. Dan Blackburn, right? Very, very promising NHL career. Wasn't it just a shot that hit his wrist, or was something weird? And they were like, "Yeah, you can't catch pucks anymore. Like you can't." He was a goalie. Sorry.
I thought it was his shoulder.
Maybe it was shoulder.
And he tried to play with 2 blockers.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, he tried coming back with 2 blockers. Did not work out.
I
didn't. I mean, I was pulling for him. You know, it's like, you know, Jim Abbott can have a successful Major League Baseball career with 1 arm. A goalie with 2 blockers isn't that bad.
I guess really Jim Abbott's only position could have been pitcher, right? The way he did it, he couldn't have really done too much else in the field, right?
Right.
I don't know. So,
well, don't forget. I've drawn a blank. Family Guy reference. The no armed shortstop. You guys ever see that?
The no arm shortstop.
They called it.
Is this a children's book or something?
No, it's a Family Guy reference. They talk about how, like, you think that because it's like a line, just a small softball goes towards him and it goes past him, and the announcer's like, you got to think that even a 1-armed shortstop would have made the play on that one.
Ken Morris says, isn't Fabry injured with the Dead Wings? He is, right? He's hurt right now.
I think so.
Fabry.
Yeah.
And like I said, some guys are just more fragile than others, and that's just their career. They got to constantly deal with injuries. So I mean that could be the case with Perunovich. I hope not. We'll see.
Bucky LaGrange was the name of the Family Guy no-armed shortstop.
Look at Chris Bray checking in with the trivia. The St. Louis Browns had an outfielder in the 1940s named Pete Gray that had 1 arm. What's his name? The owner of the Browns was into gimmicks. He had the little person up to bat, right?
Eddie was it Eddie Goodell?
Eddie Goodell, yeah. And walked on 4 pitches, and that was his only plate appearance. So actually did not count as a plate appearance because it was a walk.
Yeah.
Man, that's gonna drive me crazy. What is the name of the owner? Bill Veeck?
Bill Veeck.
Bill Veeck.
Yeah. Is that one too many E's? It's Veeck, right, Chris? I think it's Veeck. Good job.
I think he's right. It is 2 E's.
Is it? Okay. Yep. Chris is quite the sports trivia guy. I'm surprised he didn't do fare better when he participated in the Blues hockey trivia we had.
No, you were right, Chris. Yeah, Bill Veeck. I don't know if it's pronounced.
I think it's pronounced Veeck though.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never heard Veeck. I've heard Veeck.
Yeah. Div by Zero is with me. Yeah, I don't understand how that is possible. Yeah. How do you have? Because you have to catch and throw. Do you catch with the glove on? Like, you can't catch without a glove. I'm so confused. Did he have the glove on his foot? Did he punt the ball? I mean, I don't
know. I don't know.
That just blows my mind.
I don't even care at this point.
So wait, is he suggesting, Chris Bray, are you suggesting the Blues could just, like in Walking Dead, just chop off Perunovich's arm and we could have a 1-armed defenseman?
Oh, okay. So ho hum, the Blues beat the Wild again. And this is like broken record, right? With the Blues in the Wild. St. Louis 4, Minnesota 2.
I'll say this because I did say this before I saw your tweet, but I will give you credit for your tweet that when I saw the final score, I looked at my wife and I said, I bet The Athletic has a story out that the Wild were favored by 8 goals.
Did you say
this preseason game?
Yeah, I think I said. I think my tweet was I thought Dom had the Wild favored by 6 goals in this game, and then is blaming the Blues for outperforming his model.
Dumb Blues
crazily. It's uncharacteristic. I can't believe that they outperformed the model yet again.
I hate them.
I think Wild fans. I'm not that any weight is put on the outcome of a preseason game. We're not much weight, but Wild fans have to hate the Blues. I mean, like Dallas fans, kind of. The Blues have just ripped the hearts out of Stars fans the past handful of years, right? In 16 on. And shoot, the Blues whooped the Wild last year during the regular season and then beat them in the playoffs. And then in the preseason now, it's like just a continuation of last season.
Chris Bray, knock it off. That's a lie. There's no way. Sorry.
What do you say?
We're going back to, he says, once played hockey versus a guy in high school for Columbia, Illinois. Had one arm and missing half a foot. He played defense. How? I have to know. First
off, you can play hockey with half a foot, right? That's not a big deal, right?
But you're missing an arm too.
The one arm is goofy.
How are you? Hockey's all about balance. There's no balance there.
Well, Chris Bray doesn't have any arms or legs, so he's
what? Are you calling him Bob Bray?
Yeah, he plays sled hockey. So, and they just tape the stick to his chest.
Played them at the old Cahokia rink.
I think we're borderline offensive at this point.
That's in Bill's backyard there.
Yeah. I was gonna say earlier to Jeff's comment about we know what it's like getting hit into a stanchion. No, I don't. I know what it's like getting hit into chain link.
Back in Youngblood. Was it Thunder Bay that had the chain link?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Let's Go Blues radio stories. You also know what it's like to get hit by a puck in warm-ups, standing on the bench by your own teammate.
By my own captain.
I lead by example.
That's damn straight.
I have apologized many times for that.
Right. We can't go 10 shows without a reference to that.
God damn it, Matt Harris. All right, fine. Fine, Matt Harris, you get comment of the show.
Oh,
I'd have to hand it to that guy. That's impressive.
We're going to have like a cease and desist letter from the what, Paraplegic Society of America or something.
Yeah. Columbia High School doesn't have a team anymore, right?
They don't have a rink. So
Cahokia would have been their home rink, or Susan Park.
Yeah. All right. Buchnevich and Neighbors each scored their third goals of the season, preseason. Neighbors' goal came on the power play. Neighbors is looking pretty good. I think he's going to make this team out of preseason. I think he's going to be on the third line to start 100%. The year.
Yeah. I was hoping all along, especially, with the loss of Perron, that, he was going to get every chance to do it and take advantage of it. And it certainly feels that way.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's expecting him to replace Perron, but I think, adding quality depth in the bottom six just frees up that much more opportunity for your top six. So,
and I think that is, GMs will make a comment like this over time, but I do think that was one of the first thoughts when Perron went away and it was official. He was signing somewhere else. That had to be one of the thoughts for both Berube and Armstrong, right? Like, we got to make room for Jake Neighbors somehow. Like, we've got a dynamic offense. He's not a fourth line player. We got to be able to fill him in somewhere.
I think it's depth. I think letting Perron go, it'd be different if we were top heavy and Perron was part of that. But this team had a lot of 20 goal scorers last season. They were very deep. We scored more goals than Colorado during the season last year. Led the West in scoring. So it's like, so overcoming the loss of Perron's offense can be done if Neighbors steps up. You got another year of Kyrou getting better, Thomas getting better, taking their game to the next level with another year of play. I think that the thought is that they could make up a lot of the production that Perron had with the Blues depth, and I think they can. They just have to, we'll see. Neighbors is a big part of that. Obviously, if he can come in and chime in with whatever, 12, 15 goals, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean that's something we see in sports all the time is, one guy will leave and then all of a sudden it becomes, oh, who's the one guy that's going to step up for that production? It's never one guy.
Right.
It's always how do we the question isn't
That-
who steps up to fill that role. The question is how do we absorb that loss
as a team, and
as
that's
a
the
team?
and that's the problem with a lot of, I think, people's analysis of Perron leaving. That we don't have a guy to replace Perron. No, we don't. We don't have a single guy to step in and replace Perron. People are like, we're worse. We're worse than last year because we don't have another Perron to step in and fill his void. And just on that comment alone, not knowing the Blues' depth, you could easily believe that comment. But I think, though, like I said, the whole point is with the Blues is to bullpen by committee, to use a baseball reference. It's use your depth to overcome the loss of a guy like Perron. So,
Yep. And
but
let's not forget, last season, it was pretty late in the year that he finally started clicking and he finally
yeah.
started putting the puck in the net.
Remember the
And
first half of the
Blues were
season?
the Blues were doing fine without him putting the puck in the net. So
People were saying he was done.
yeah,
that was, people are so knee jerk. It's kind of funny, but I remember early in the season, first third at least, he was. People were saying, "Oh, he's done. He doesn't look the same at all." And then he finally, kicked it into gear.
yeah, and I just think that again, late in the season he put it on and he scored over 20 goals again last season. But I think if he doesn't turn it on and doesn't put on the number of goals he did late in the season, I think the Blues still end up about where they were. And I'm not trying to minimize the loss of Perron. I wanted him back too, but I just think a lot of stock was put into losing David Perron. And I think
Sure.
the Blues are going to be able to absorb that. And we're going to come out of this season saying, yeah, having Perron would have been nice.
Right.
But we got plenty of guys who still put up the points, and the Blues are still where we think they would be, even if they had Perron.
Do you think Kyrou is going to be better than last season? People expect him to be a little better than last year, right? The expectation is better. Thomas.
When you say better, do you say more
Production.
points, more goals, or do you just say overall play?
All the above. Production and overall play.
I see his production being about the same, maybe better, but I'd say about the same. I expect his overall play to get better because I think he was pretty much dog shit about halfway through the season. After the All-Star game, he was awful. He looked terrible. I don't think we'll see that bad of a stretch from him all year, which at the end of the season will make us say, "Oh yeah, he had a better season."
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the guy everybody immediately goes to say, where's the production going to come from this year? And I don't think it's so much of a replacement of Perron, but the focus has got to be more on Kyrou being the guy to deliver. And then you'll
goals.
Right. The goals, right? You'll get more. I think, John Anderson in the chat says Thomas, right? I think Thomas is going to contribute some more goals. He showed towards the end of last season that he was, starting to shoot the puck a little bit more and make people second guess that he's pass first. But I also think, Buchnevich is a guy that can step up and pot some more goals this year. Right. And I think what we're going to wind up seeing is that O'Reilly becomes more the number 2 center and Thomas and Kyrou take the number 1. Right. That's at least that's what we need to see for this team to be super successful.
Div by Zero says it was the history we have with Perron in St. Louis. Fans are loyal to our guys, and Perron came back and exceeded expectations of him. I think fans wanted him to retire a Blue. I would have loved for him to retire a Blue. It would have been great if it would have worked out. I think that's kind of that's an obvious statement, I think. But I also think that part of it is Perron wanted to be here really bad, and he was outspoken about it. I think that really makes it extra special for fans. It's like not only is he a good player, but he really likes it here. And St. Louis is, I don't know if every town's like that, but St. Louis is kind of weird. Maybe little dog syndrome or something. Oh, this guy likes this town and wants to be here. keep him here. He wants to be
Right.
here.
Well,
I think it's more so with Perron, though, because he kept coming back.
Yeah.
Until he signed that contract with the Red Wings, he
Yep.
had never signed a contract with another team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and let's not forget either that the talk in 2019 was because John Tavares was a free agent, and he made it pretty clear he wasn't going to come here before free agency, and that was the talk. Oh my God, is St. Louis like a Winnipeg, like an Arizona, that we just can't get the free agents? Like, we're never going to be able to get guys in their prime to come here because we're just not that town. The first guy to sign after that whole conversation was David Perron. And of course, followed by him was Tyler Bozak. And then, of course, him saying the famous, I want to win a Stanley Cup line. But like, Perron was the one that started that. And now fans don't even question that anymore. Now we're like, yeah, of course people want to sign here. We're a great place to play. But people forget 3 years ago, that was not the conversation here.
Well, and I think it's probably best that Tavares didn't sign here. I mean, who knows what would have happened if he wanted to come here and actually did, or was open to it at least. I mean, good. I'm glad he didn't want to come here because that removed all possibility of him playing here. Who knows if it was a possibility anyway? Probably not. How often does Doug Armstrong go out there and sign, the biggest free agent out there? Not often. It doesn't happen that often.
Your Laterra.
Right, and your Laterra is one of them.
Steve Ott.
Vladimir Sobotka.
Steve Ott, yeah, Sobotka. Right.
Yeah.
So
no, in let's like we said after Perron signed in Detroit, the final chapter is not written. We're going to trade for him at trade deadline next, not this following season, not this season, but the following season, right? Yeah. It's that if that doesn't happen, that's when my heart will break.
You know that at some point, probably even this season, a left wing is going to get hurt, even if it's for 1 or 2 games. And it's going to be, oh my God, call the Red Wings. Let's try and get Perron back. Like, that's what social media is going to go to. It's going to happen this season. Yep.
And and if it's a trade deadline deal where you get a veteran guy who can score a little bit for for the playoff push and the playoff run, that's fine. And let him retire here or however long he wants to play. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say again, we're gonna talk Hall of Fame here in a minute, but like, yeah, that's one guy that I look at, and we talked about this middle of last season. I would have loved, I guess, to have seen O'Reilly and Perron kind of very much a more minor scale, but like a Molina Pujols type situation where it's, let's see them go out together, finish their careers in St. Louis, and then with us having the Hall of Fame already established by then, any waiver period there might be, let's let that go and just get them in the first year. That's how we would have looked at it.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Perron plays this year because eventually he's going to start to regress, right? Whenever that is, what's this year, next year, however long he plays, I don't know. But if he takes a step back this year, whether it be from playing on a worse team or because it's age or whatever, I mean, Armstrong could look smart, or if he puts up great numbers with Detroit, he could look stupid. So, I mean, it's kind of a wait and see thing with Perron. I wish him well in Detroit. I like Perron a lot. I wanted him to resign here, but that didn't work out. So the Walker put the Blues up 3-0. We got away from the game a little bit. Midway through the second.
It's preseason.
It's preseason. Mason Shaw that's why I'm breezing through this. Mason Shaw got Minnesota on the board in the third, about 7 minutes into the game, make it 3-1. Costin scored his first of the preseason with about 6 minutes to go. Did you see this goal as he kind of slid behind the defense, got a pass and just kind of slid it by Gustafsson, who played the whole game in net for Minnesota. And I said this on Twitter. There are a few guys in this franchise right now that I'm rooting for harder than Costin. I really like to see him take that next step and be a productive member of this team when he gets his chance to play, because he will. He'll get his chance sooner or later to play with this team during the season at some point, and I'd really love for him to be productive, because he'll have a couple good shifts, maybe a good game, but then he just disappears. He just doesn't
me to be
quite
the
get there.
pessimist.
He doesn't quite get there.
Allow me to be the pessimist here then, because I think his time's done.
No, I'm not saying he's going to. I'm saying I'm just rooting for him. I'm hoping.
Oh, I mean, we're all rooting for him. We're all Blues fans, right? We're all rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. He's the guy I pick out to say, I really hope he does, because the clock is ticking on him.
No, and I think the oven timer's gone off on Klim Kostin. And mark the tape. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like, at least as a St. Louis Blue, with the comments that Berube made, was it after the game before this game? I think he's done. I think that was Berube basically saying, this is my last ditch effort to get more out of Klim Kostin. And he did in this game, clearly. But how long is that going to last? That's not going to thrust him the rest of his career. So I unfortunately think it's time to try and move on from him if you can.
Right. I thought that those were strategically timed comments by Berube, putting it out there that, hey, bud, this is your last chance. Right. And, he's had a couple moments of brilliance. The goal, Chicago, that Nikita Andra, was the Andra? I can't remember. The third or fourth goal deflection. Kostin took the shot, and it was a great redirect in front. I think Kostin's shot probably was going to go in anyway, but he set that up. He got open in the high slot and let a pretty wicked wrister go. But yeah, he's has a nice play the other night. Hopefully they run him out there again tomorrow night, and we'll see. If he can have a dominant, more than half a game.
I think Kostin's saving grace is that he's 23. He's still really young. I think that's the only. If you were 25, I'm thinking I'm fully on board with let's move on. But he's 23. I'm thinking he's got one more shot for me, as a fan saying, okay, let's get him in there and see what he does, as opposed to him being 25 and saying, why is he still getting chances?
Right. How much do you think Dmitry Yaskin hurt him? Right. They kept giving Yaskin chance after chance, and it just doesn't seem like they're giving Kostin the same opportunity to try to prove himself.
That's a good point. A little gun shy because of Yaskin. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if they're gun shy because of Yaskin. I think they just gave Yaskin too much opportunity. I don't think it's affected Kostin's getting opportunity. I think it's more they had a hole in the lineup and they just kept thinking this guy was going to work out. Whereas it's a different time now as the Blues organization. They don't have holes in the lineup. They've got plenty of guys that can fire, and they're just like, okay, kid, like, you're not making the lineup because you're not proving us you're better than anybody else on this roster.
Tyson Jost added a meaningless goal for Minnesota with less than a minute remaining to make it 4-2, and that was the final. Hofer and Binnington were in net for the Blues. Binnington played,
which was crazy to see their hands tied together and them playing goal together. That was nuts. Anybody ever seen that before?
I didn't think
it
was
very
legal.
Difficult.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. That's a Mighty Ducks level stuff right there.
Yeah.
Disney, not Anaheim.
No, of course.
It's yeah. I haven't seen it since that movie Stuck on You.
There's the reference we were
That's
waiting
the
for.
first Stuck on You reference in Let's Go Blues radio history.
That might be the first Stuck on You reference in podcast history.
I forgot about that movie. That was great. Binnington played the first two periods and stopped all of them against him, and Hofer played the third. Oh, they split time.
Oh,
that's what happened.
Shit, I forgot how to read for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happened. All
right.
And Hofer played the third period, stopping 15 of 17. Shots were pretty even. 28 for Minnesota, 27 for St. Louis. Blues dominated the faceoff dot, winning 61% of the draws. Blues went 1 for 6 on the power play and held the Wild to and going over 4 on their power play. So Blues power plays.
The PKs look good.
Power plays looked good. PKs looked
Special
good.
teams.
Yeah, that's what they call them.
Yeah. No, you were making one point. I was making the other. Yes. Power plays look good, but the PK has also looked good, which is, I mean, for regular season success, that's what you need. And
Right.
I think they both look great.
It's nice to see the power play continue from last season. It was really, really good last year. Preseason looks good. Hopefully that continues into the regular season as well. Although again, it's preseason. You take stuff with a grain of salt. You hope players play well. I mean, you want to see the team play well. You want to see them win because that means they're playing well, probably, right, to win. You don't want to be losing 4 or 5-0 in the preseason, but still, preseason success does not translate into. Bill has the saying, right? Preseason success. It's something different though. It's not preseason, regular season.
Prior. What is it, Bill? Come on.
Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Right.
There it is.
And when
consult your tax advisor and your investment professional.
That's what Bill tells us strippers and PTs. Just because you were great last night does not mean you're gonna have a good night tonight.
So the strippers are telling Bill that, or he's telling them that?
He tells them that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
he's like
they would tell him. Okay.
Well, that's it. Well, yeah. Okay. It works both ways.
It could work both ways. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
It does.
All right. So he says it to them, and they say ditto, and then they go out and dance.
Yeah, which is what happens all the time in strip clubs. They go out and dance. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant as a couple. Okay. Yeah. That didn't happen. You get drug up on stage as a man in a strip club, and you're getting the shit beat out of you.
No, that's Bennington and Hofer that go out and dance together, right?
Right. You do not, as a man, you do not want to get pulled up on stage. If you've never been to a strip club before, and you're a man, you go and you get pulled up on stage by strippers, you're thinking, "Oh man, this could be pretty cool."
No, it's awful.
No, you're going to get the living shit beat out of you.
My
doused
buddy
with something, food.
Yeah, my buddy once he had just gotten back from deployment, and so we told them that, and they were like, "Oh, so he knows how to take a beating," and they beat his ass. He had welts.
They took
his belt off, and they beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
And he had welts on his body for weeks.
Uh-huh.
We were like, he was like, "Why'd you guys have to tell them that?" We're like, come on, man. Like, why would we not? We're your friends. That's what we do.
He willingly went on stage, though. They can't make you go on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he was trying to be a good sport about it, but
I did feel bad when I saw how bad they were. I mean,
you should feel bad.
Kicking his
you
ass.
should know you should know that was going to happen. Shame on you. The Blues have changed the time of the game versus the Blackhawks on Saturday, October 8th, due to the scheduling of Game 2 of the Cardinals playoff wildcard series versus the Phillies, which is scheduled for 8:37 p.m. that night. The Blues have changed the start time of their final preseason game to 2 p.m. instead of the originally scheduled time of 7 p.m. Some Blues fans were a little upset about this.
Which I laughed my ass off.
Come on, guys.
Who fucking cares? It's preseason.
And it's Cardinals playoff baseball. You can't expect the Blues preseason game.
Yeah, I saw somebody retweet the Blues' announcement of this, and they said like, "Oh, Blues, so what you're saying is Cardinals better than Blues." And I'm like, yeah, when it comes to playoffs versus fucking preseason, yes, 100%.
Right. Especially when the Cardinals get the primetime game on the weekend. Right?
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
Just saying those fans are never happy about anything. They complain about it either way.
I'm like, come on. You can't get mad about they could say we're gonna postpone the preseason game to 3 a.m. I'd be like, okay, it's fucking preseason. Who cares?
I laughed. Blues fans should want the games to be staggered so you can watch both. Why wouldn't you? I mean, even if you don't want to watch the Cardinals, who cares? If you're not a Cardinals fan, okay, fine. Watch the Blues game whenever it is. That's fine.
But are they going to make the Blues game available on TV? It is against Chicago. Chicago's been broadcasting all the games. So will it be available on ESPN Plus?
I thought they said all the remaining the Blues home games are on ESPN Plus, right?
Yeah.
I thought so. I do believe they said that.
Well,
Could be wrong.
maybe I'll get to watch tomorrow night then.
And the Blues Icebreaker event at Ballpark Village has also been postponed. All tickets purchased for that event will be refunded. I hope they still have it.
I am so mad. But Ballpark Village is going to cater to the Cardinals, the baseball team, instead of the hockey team in preseason? What?
What?
But seriously, if you're saying it's postponed and you're getting a refund, just say canceled.
Yeah. When else are you going to have it?
You
can't have the opening season event in January.
No.
You know,
you'd have to have it on Sunday, right? You could have it that next day. You could have it on Sunday,
I guess.
Because,
yeah, Bill's right. If you're refunding tickets, it's canceled. They're not.
Or you know what? That place makes so much money. Reschedule to Sunday, and well, I guess they couldn't do this because they could say it was free. The place would be too packed.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could have it anytime during that week, but again, I don't think you refund tickets then. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
But if it goes to a third game in the series against Philly, you're not going to do it Sunday because
that's true.
That's when the game is. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Yep.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I think you could have it like the Thursday before, but then again, you're probably talking about if the Cardinals win, they're in the NLCS. But
just not a good idea to schedule it at Ballpark Village. Let's just say what it is. Right.
But where else are you going to have it? Where else are you going to have it? Because you got to have it downtown, right? That's the Blues have an affiliation with downtown St. Louis.
How about Centene Stadium? And trash the fucker before you even open it.
Oh,
that's true.
That would be interesting.
Well, they don't have power there yet, right? Still.
Oh, true.
All the games being played at SIUE.
Yeah.
So
true.
I mean, there's really nowhere else.
The city screwed that up.
What a major brain fart fuck up, right? By the construction crew that they're working on a different construction crew, different project, not on the stadium. But they messed up the power going to the stadium, and this has been a long time now. It's been weeks.
Yeah,
they can't get the full power to the stadium, so the STL City 2 is playing their games at SIUE.
That's pretty bad. This is supposed to be like the big coming out event,
trial run.
Yep.
Soft opening kind of a thing.
Yeah, oops. I mean, I get to look at the stadium every day from where I park at work, and it's beautiful. Can't wait to get in there. But man, what a shit show the city could be.
Oh, we got no power, as we say in the Midwest. Oh, no power.
You sound like you're from North Dakota,
right?
Well, that's Midwest kind of,
or Wisconsin.
I don't think. Do you think
North Dakota
the upper Midwest is mid? I don't deem Minnesota.
Do you want to know
Dakota
something? The upper Midwest does not consider us Midwest.
See, I think that's okay.
They consider us South.
Well, okay. I assume we're on the same page here, but it doesn't get much more Midwest than here, Kansas area, right? It's the center of the country.
The way that I see it, we are not more Midwest when we are the gateway to the West. Like, to me,
Midwest.
But what I'm saying is, if we're the gateway to the West, how are we not Midwest then?
Right.
Like, what are we then? What are we?
Right. No, and it's weird. Now, the South is not Midwest. The South is the South. The North is not Midwest. It's North. You got Northeast. You got North, Northwest, West, right? Southwest, South, Midwest. That's middle.
Kirk got all his directions right. Yay.
Oh my God.
Southeast is Florida area, Georgia, right? East is the East Coast. Why would the northern U.S. want to be called the Midwest? Unless you're just counting east to west, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they are.
That's ridiculous.
That's all the TV networks care about. It's time zones.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
True.
we're in the Midwest there.
Well, we shouldn't be we should be central then. We should be central U.S., which we are. There should not be a Midwest then. It should be central.
We should be Central West.
No west. Just
Central West End.
Central West. We are the Central West End.
There's no Mid East unless you go overseas.
Do you,
you know what I mean? Mid East should be like Ohio, right? Or whatever is east of Kentucky.
All right, we're gonna call our
talk.
Who are we
Stay
friends
for
with?
the geography lessons.
Who are we friends with in Columbus? Because we're gonna start telling them they live in the Mideast.
The Mideast. Well, if Missouri, Kansas is Midwest, I don't know. Explain that to me.
Oh, you got to pull up Matt Harris's comment here on the show. This week, directions. Next week, Kurt learns his colors.
Hey, I will define the shit out of a color wheel, man. We just talked about my Viscom degree.
You know colors better than anyone on this show.
I should hope so. All right. Where are we at here? So the next up, we will talk. We're due for a break. We'll talk about some Blues call-ups and the mess that is Hockey Canada, and all that will be on the other side of the break. And a word from our friends from Sunrise Brewery. Do you like hockey? No, of course you do. Do you like beer? Of course you do. Are you 21? Well, let's hope so. If you answered yes to all of those questions, run on down to your local beer distributor and pick up a 2-4 of Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, or any other delicious hockey-themed beer from Sunrise Brewery. That's right, Sunrise Brewery beer is available at various beer stores around town, so check around for the one closest to you. That's Sunrise Brewery. Let's go Blues. The Blues have recalled forwards Will Bitton. Hugh McKay. Will Bitton sounds like an adjective and not so much a name. Will
you think
Bitton.
His middle name is was?
Will was Bitton. Hugh McKing too sounds like an adjective. These are all like action words. These aren't names. All of these. Will Bitton, Hugh McGing, Matthias Laferriere. They're all like action words. Along with defenseman Brad Lyle and Steven Santini. So the Blues will likely either dress a lot of regulars on Thursday versus Columbus and play the call-ups in the regular season finale versus Chicago on Saturday, or do the opposite and play these call-ups on Thursday versus Columbus and dress the regulars on versus Chicago on Saturday. And Bill is
beer number 2.
Beer number 2. Dogfish Head?
Dogfish Head. Kurt's favorite brewery. By name, at least.
Just can't. Why not name it, Dead Fish Ale or something? Dead Fish Ale.
Yeah, I'm on was 3 of the show, 5 on the evening for me. I decided to do a little NHL 22 earlier and was like, some beer sounds good with this.
Dogfish Head needs a beer called Roly Poly Fish Heads. The old 80s song.
Roll them up.
Yeah.
Right.
Eat them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat them up. Eat them
Eat
up.
them up.
Eat them
Yum.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish heads. Roly Poly Fish Heads. Fish heads. Eat them up. Yum.
So it would. I think it's going to be the latter with what you said. That I think because they're in Columbus, right? Or are they in St. Louis?
Oh, I got the schedule right here. We are in Columbus on Thursday and then at home against Chicago.
I think they play the call-ups. I think you're going to see a lot of Bitton, McCain, Lafayette, Lyle, Santini. You're going to see all those guys play. And I think they only did that because they're like, we know these guys are going to be down in the AHL. Let's call them up. Let's give these guys a rest. We need to play all of our regulars in Columbus. And I think they're like, last preseason game supposed to be kind of a big deal with it being the icebreaker. Let's play the regulars against Chicago. I think that's what it's going to be.
don't they? They usually do play the regulars that last preseason game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. Most teams do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it'll come down to, the two guys pushing for that final spot. We'll get in one regular sits.
Chris Bray, Blues play in the Middle East this week. Who knew?
Yeah.
That might be a new bit on this show.
Chris asked a question we didn't really cover. We'll talk about that before we get into Hockey Canada. He goes, Chris Bray from the Metro East asks, how good are the Blues going to be? Second division? Third? We'll probably have more on this on our next show when we'll do more of a season preview. But what do you guys? What are your thoughts on this upcoming season? How the Blues fare?
Yeah, I'll give a short answer just because, like you said, we'll talk about this more next week. I think this team's destined to be second in the division. I think Bill's right with what he said last week, that I think there's more competition in this division than a lot of people are giving credit for. So I'm sure that's kind of what his answer is going to be. So I'm totally stealing your thunder here, Bill. But yeah, I'll say second of the division, I think is safe, but with the way the rest of this division could go, they're going to be a playoff team, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went to third or even a wild card.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Third or a wild card. I don't think they finish higher than third in this division. I think
who's finishing second?
Probably Nashville.
You think Nashville?
Yeah, as long as they get solid goaltending the entire season this year, I think they'll be good. How many times do we play them? Because if they play Saros, we'll tear them up because that's what we do now. It's crazy how we went from not really being able to beat Pecorine to having a book on their starter now.
Yeah.
Let's see. We play Nashville on the 27th of October, so that's 1. And we do not play them in November. We play them once in December, so that's 2. We play them once in January, that's 3.
Kurt is learning his move.
None in February.
They played them on a Saturday in March in Nashville. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I'll probably go this year if
Play
they play in a weekend.
Just 4 times. Saturday at Nashville, noon, April 1st.
We're going to that.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, let's plan for that.
April 1st, Saturday, noon game. That's perfect. That was like it was last year. Well,
yeah, except no chance for snow. Well, I guess less chance for snow. Right. You can't say no chance.
Yeah,
but
it ended up being okay, but it was that was goofy.
We could do a Let's Go Blues Radio visits Nashville. Because Austin Lynch even says April 1st, baby, I'm going to Nashville for the game. Yeah, I had things come up. Yeah, we'll have our producer with us.
And that's the it's the only Saturday game is Nashville.
Real quick with more Middle East discussion. I think you could make a case that if we're going to call something the Middle East, I think Chicago and Nashville, you could be considered Middle East.
Nah, Chicago.
Middle East.
Louis
yeah.
Chicago and St. Louis are too much, really too much in a line. Nashville, maybe. Indianapolis, yeah, but not Chicago.
Okay, Detroit, definitely Middle East.
Yeah, but North Middle East.
North Middle East. Northern.
They're like
Middle
Afghanistan.
Open up an Afghanistan in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan. So okay.
So we've had a lot of fun on this show.
Yeah,
that's about to end.
That's about to end. And Austin Lynch says, "Let's Go Blues Radio Bar Hops Broadway."
Well, we couldn't include our producer in that because
he's
he is not of age.
Yeah. He just sit outside and wait, look through the window.
We could have him hold his phone up and record us in the bar and be like, "Yeah, we'll use this for content later."
Detroit at one time was in the Northwest Territory, according to Chris Bray on Facebook.
fun. That's neat.
That's Final Four weekend, April 1st,
oh, it is.
according to Chris. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
cool. Neat.
Okay. Let me guess. Nashville is probably hosting a bracket.
No, not for Final Four. That wouldn't be. The game
No, I
would
guess
not be
I guess
there.
not. I guess not. That's true. That's true. You're right. Okay. So Hockey Canada is a mess. They have essentially been outed as, and some of you may know some of this news already. They've been outed as covering up, mishandling, or flat out ignoring allegations of gang rapes against women by players in their development program. Andrea Skinner, who is the interim chair of the board of directors at Hockey Canada, has dug in her heels and said that there will be no managerial leadership changes and that Hockey Canada has an excellent reputation, and argued against scapegoating hockey as a centerpiece for toxic culture. So people are kind of up in arms over this, and rightfully so. Even Justin Trudeau chimed in. He was kind of dumbfounded. Hockey Quebec has cut ties with Hockey Canada after it was reported that Hockey Canada put player registration fees toward a second fund for matters including, but not limited to, sexual abuse. So in short, paying off victims, right? $8.9 million in settlements were paid out to 21 complainants with sexual misconduct claims since 1989. And there are 12 other regional hockey organizations that belong to Hockey Canada. All have said in one way, shape, or form that they're essentially monitoring the situation. Which is weird. Or we're meeting next week, or meeting in a couple weeks, or we'll discuss it at the next board meeting. Though through a review of public records, CBC's The Fifth Estate has identified at least 15 cases of alleged group sexual assault involving junior hockey players that have been investigated by police since 1989, half of which surfaced in the past decade. Kevin Waugh, a former television sports journalist, called Hockey Canada's response to calls for a change in management arrogant. He said they've doubled down and it's disgusting, before citing Hockey Canada's decision to hire Navigator, a crisis management firm, to help it deal with the wave of bad press. He said they spent a lot of money on Navigator. It's a company that's trying to put the narrative of that they're great guys. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. We're going to change. Everything will be fine. But that's not the case. And the Ontario MP told the committee he found it deeply troubling that the organization is more concerned with shifting the narrative than actually meaningfully implementing change within this organization. So in April,
bro,
go ahead.
Before we get into all this, I just want to say, like, we've kind of mentioned this in the show here for the last year now, but never really brought it up as a full discussion, just because I think all three of us, we'd never really said this to each other. We all just kind of said, like, let's wait and see what happens. You know, let's see what jurisdictions brought down, what happens with Hockey Canada. Does it get disbanded? Is there management changes? It's been about a year now since these allegations really started to surface, and nothing has changed. I mean, all that's changed is sponsorships are dropping out. Again, Hockey Quebec has said they're done. They're not a part of Hockey Canada anymore. Nothing in terms of like actual what is happening here, like what's going to change. None of that's happened. So we all discussed today and said, you know what? This is fucking ridiculous. We're not reporting on it. We're not talking about it because we want to wait and see what happens. It's clear nothing's going to happen. I mean, it was all but said that by the interim leader, whatever her title is, that, oh, yeah, we're fine. Yeah, we're working on it. You know, oh, nothing's going to change. Nothing's changing. I'm appalled with Hockey Canada. They have brought up so many, just like if you're in the U.S. side, USA Hockey has brought up a lot of great young hockey players, women and male. We're not, I mean, Hockey Canada's done the same in Canada, obviously more so, but to see this from such an organization, they've literally had bank accounts set aside to pay off these people who are claiming sexual allegations against them.
And that money was registration from
Right.
Yeah.
Hockey
From
Canada
common
members.
players,
Yeah,
right?
from all every
Yeah.
their fees. Yeah.
And again, if you think about it from the U.S. side, if you play here, if you play ice hockey here, most ice hockey things here say you have to pay USA Hockey a fee every year or every 2 years, whatever it is. You have to pay them a fee in order to play ice hockey and go by their rules. It's the same thing in Hockey Canada. They do the same thing, and it's probably even I don't know what the registration fees are, but yeah, even men's leagues are paying to this. And that money is going towards paying off people who are alleging sexual assault. That's sickening. That is absolutely. If I found out, not saying they are, just saying, if I found out that some of my registration money with USA Hockey was going towards that, I would stop playing ice hockey. I'd be like, I'm done. I'm not going to play as long as I know my money could be going to something like this. It's sick.
You know, part of the reason that we did bring this up a number of shows ago was because there was some question as to whether Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas may have been involved in the 15 player allegation or whatever it was
I think it's
from
18.
Team Canada 18 because they were on that team but neither one of them were at that tournament. So, and it eventually came out that so they weren't a part of that. So so there was speculation. Gosh, could they be involved in this suit? So, in April, a woman filed a $3.5 million lawsuit, and this is the one that kind of brought the attention, the big one, right? I just mentioned $3.5 million lawsuit alleging she was sexually assaulted by 8 hockey players in 2018, including members of the World Junior team. In the wake of that, Hockey Canada's board chair resigned, and this is like the only thing that's happened in the wake of all this. Hockey Canada's board chair resigned and was replaced by an interim chairperson, and a former Supreme Court justice was appointed to review the organization's governance structure. Hockey Canada also posted a new job to overhaul the handling of maltreatment, harassment, and abuse within the organization. It'll involve the creation of a new player screening program and tracking system for complaints. At the time, several federations, including Hockey Manitoba and Saskatchewan Hockey, have said they are comfortable with the way Hockey Canada is proceeding. But recent statements, lack of real action, and lack of management resignations from those in charge of Hockey Canada have people up in arms. So I think this is a huge deal that simply doesn't get the press that it should be getting here in the United States for a few reasons. It's happening in another country, right? So the U.S. is like, well, it's Canada's problem, and it's not, and it's hockey. So sports coverage in the U.S. typically does not care a whole lot about hockey anyway. And then 3, sexual assault allegations are rarely handled appropriately here in the United States. So lack of coverage and calling and caring here is just, par for the course with this stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and
Right.
the
So-
thing is that why we should care is because, again, how many players came up through Hockey Canada? Like, that's why we should care. A ton of players in the NHL came up through this organization. So they're going to keep being involved with developing these players. We need to see some change here. We need to see something fixed because that's not the way anybody wants their, let's just say, their kids' idols to be managed. Sorry, Bill,
Yeah.
you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say to Kurt's point about, why people in the U.S. don't care. How many people in the U.S. are aware that right now there's a major scandal breaking news around the women's national soccer program in the U.S., right? Our pride and joy when it comes to soccer, because our men can never win, right? There's major news coming out about sexual abuse at all levels of that program. And it's, I saw a couple of headlines in the Athletic and not seeing a whole lot of coverage elsewhere.
Ken Morris in the YouTube chat says Hockey Canada is one of the lead stories in our national TV news, even bumping Putin and Ukraine and North Korea firing missiles over Japan. So
yeah.
it is getting the coverage in Hockey Canada as well.
In
it should
Canada. Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
Rick Westhead, I want to give him kudos. He was one of the ones in the oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name. The Blackhawks player.
Yeah.
God, I feel like an idiot for not knowing his name.
Beach.
Kyle
Beach. Yeah,
Beach.
Kyle
Kyle
Beach.
Beach. Yeah. He was one of the ones that led that. He's leading the charge here too. Grant Robertson, I know from the Globe and Mail, has had a couple stories. Susan Robertson. I just want to give as much credit as I can to these reporters who are actually reporting on the important parts of hockey that need to be reported on. Unfortunately, I hate saying that. Hockey should be the fun, the love of the game, but unfortunately, you got these sick organizations that take advantage of players and parents and kids, and just let people get away with things they shouldn't. But I want to give kudos to the reporters and the journalists who are actually covering this kind of thing and letting people know what's going on with it and not letting us forget.
We got some comments in the YouTube chat here. Let's see. Back as far as, well, off topic a little bit. Matt Metamlo 12. Neighbors making the team, guys. I think so.
Oh yeah,
I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
I said it last week. I think it's his spot to lose at this point.
Ken Morris says there is a CBC special on the 72 Summit Series. You may need a VPN service. Man, some of those the Summit Series and the Canada and Russia had. God.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing. It's 50 years. 50-year anniversary for the Summit Series, right? That's
nuts.
Yeah. I've seen tweets and stuff about it, but obviously here stateside we don't get the CBC offered at least this far south. I have a cousin who lives in Detroit and they can get CBC Windsor, so they get it, but yeah, down here it's tough to get. We used to be, I forget, I don't know if it was while we were on Spectrum or still DirecTV, but there was a channel that we used to be able to get the National, which is like the 60 minutes of Canada weekly news magazine show. And we would have watched that occasionally, but can't find it here anymore.
Yeah, so there was the gymnastics scandal. The sexual abuse scandal in gymnastics in the U.S. team. That was a huge deal, and that got covered in the U.S. because the U.S. gymnastics team was good, right? And the top ones came out and spoke out against it, and then it happened to them. So that was huge news. I guess you have to be good, have a good national team to hear about something going down. Although I guess you said, Bill, the U.S. women's soccer team is good, and they're not covering that too much.
Yeah. I'm hoping as the week draws out, because it was Becky Sauerbrunn came out yesterday with some very public comments about it, hoping that it picks up traction.
Dib by Zero says, hey guys, Eastern time zone, I got to run.
Well, you got to read his question first.
Oh,
yeah.
His question was, since this is the geography hour, I got one for you. What is the northernmost, easternmost, westernmost, and southernmost state in the U.S.?
Northernmost is Maine. Is it not? That's continental. Is Alaska?
That's continental.
Yeah,
Alaska.
It's Alaska.
Alaska.
Okay. And wouldn't Alaska also be? Oh, Hawaii is probably the farthest west, right?
Yep.
Most southern. Florida's farther southern than Texas?
Southern, I don't know. I don't understand this at all, but I don't understand geography. I never did well in that class. He says basically the answers are northern is Alaska. Let me see if I can get this right. Northern is Alaska. Eastern is Alaska.
Wait, what?
Western is Alaska.
Southern is Hawaii.
No, western is Hawaii.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, really?
Wait,
yeah.
what? Hold on.
So Northern, Eastern, and Southern is Alaska. Northern, Eastern, and Western is Alaska. Southern is Hawaii.
How is that Alaska Eastern and Western?
Does it? I don't know. I really don't.
Does
It's
it
so confusing.
It doesn't cross the date line.
Does it?
No.
Mm.
That's Greenwich. No.
Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah.
Greenwich is closer to
I don't know. My head's about to explode
Europe.
because he says the answer is Alaska, 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 and Hawaii.
I mean, Hawaii I get, Northern Alaska I get.
Yeah.
Southern is and Eastern is Alaska?
He's saying Southern is let's see. Southern is Hawaii. Eastern, Western, and Northern is Alaska.
Oh, Southern's
Mm.
Hawaii. Okay.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
You'll have to come back next week and explain it.
Stay tuned for the next episode
Yeah,
to
I
find
am
out the answer.
so confused by this. This hurts my head.
I mean, he wouldn't say this without being sure, right?
I would hope.
Without having a source.
Austin Lynch, I've heard of him, was at the game last night, and Jake Neighbors looked goo. I think you forgot the D there, Austin.
Here we go. I'm pulling up an article on this right now.
About the
Alaska is the northernmost, easternmost, and westernmost state. Hawaii is the southernmost.
So what's the catch with Alaska with being the most eastern?
I don't know. I'm so confusing. This is so confusing. I can't even talk. That's how confused I am.
Because it's obviously east to west. It's if you're looking at a map, it's not.
He says Alaska is the state that is the farthest north, east, and west. The reason Alaska can be considered the farthest both east and west is that the Aleutian Islands cross the 180-degree meridian.
See, I was thinking. I guess that's not time. Okay, I was thinking time zones, and it's
Ow! My head hurts. Stop.
interesting.
This hurts. Stop.
It's much farther west than the 100th meridian, where the Great Plains begin.
Huh. Okay.
I'm just gonna start dropping random, tragically hip lyrics into the show, and see if anybody ever picks it up.
I did not pick up. I knew it was something I wasn't getting. I knew it wasn't a scientific thing. They just sporting out. All right. Anything else? We're gonna wrap this show up. I don't see any other comments to cover here.
I'm going to sit here and read about geography for the next 4
Yeah,
hours.
Nebraska is the farthest Middle East state in the U.S.
Chris Bray says today is Patrick Waugh and Mario Lemieux's birthday, both 57.
Yes. That's October 5th. I used to know that by heart as a big Patrick Waugh fan growing up. Right there.
Patrick Waugh in a box and then on the card. You podcast folks can't see that. Very nice.
Yeah.
Jeff's little G.I. Joe Patrick Waugh doll.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is friend of the show, my buddy Justin Wilson. He gave this to me on my birthday one year. He gave it to me he was like, "Oh, hey, I got you this for your, birthday, number 33." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Number 33." And I'm like, "I'm turning 34 this year." And he's like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Don't worry, it's still a good gift."
He's a guy. Guys don't really keep track of that stuff too well.
Yeah.
That's what I
There you go.
That's what I said. I was like, "I don't care. It's still an awesome gift."
Nice, Bill.
Yeah. I want to get the rest of this series.
Jeff's Bill's showing the Patrick Waugh's Avalanche mask in a box. Cool.
Yeah.
Austin Lynch. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say, they didn't make enough of these. Should have been every mask available that year, but no.
Dummies.
Austin gets screwed.
You do. Not in a good way. No. Austin Lynch asks, Ponder, any updates on the jerseys? Yeah, for those of you that ordered Let's Go Blues Radio jerseys, They are almost done, and I will be hopefully getting those. My guess, Austin, is that you will be wearing one of those buttes at the Ponder Cup, but I don't want to promise that.
Sounds
So
like
April-
supply chain problems.
Is it stuck on a cargo ship anchored outside
Yes.
the
The port of LA.
outside the port of LA? Yeah.
LI.
LA.
So
Haven't
April
had
1st,
Tacos. That's had
Blues are in
in
Nashville
LA.
for a noon Saturday. Back-to-back seasons, the Blues are in Nashville on a Saturday for a game. That's pretty cool. Was it Sunday or Saturday last year?
It was Saturday. It was Saturday.
What'd you guys do?
Yeah.
What'd you guys do for a room last time? Did you get a hotel? Did you an Airbnb? What'd you do?
I booked the Westin 2 blocks from the arena, and Kurt stayed a little further out.
I had some friends a
little
couple
further out of
years
the skull.
ago. I want to say it was 2019. I had some friends a couple years ago who said they did an Airbnb. It was walking distance, but I think they took an Uber. And apparently it was awesome. So maybe something to look into if we all go.
I know last year we signed up for a credit card. Amy and I did, and it was, if you signed up for it, you got a gift card for $100 off a stay at, I forgot the hotel we stayed at, and we each got one, and we could apply it both to the stay. So we got $200 off our 2-night stay there, which was pretty cool. That was a good deal. So, and I forgot the name of the hotel, but I wouldn't stay there again because it was just too far to walk. I want to walk there.
Yeah.
Bill had a great location.
The
Westin
was great. It was full of Blues fans too. And there's a great steakhouse. It was our anniversary weekend, so you know, apart from driving through the snow to get there, which I thought snow would be a problem here, but it wasn't a problem until we got within 50 miles of Nashville. It's terrible, but great steakhouse.
We got there before you did, and it didn't snow. Well, we saw some snow, I think, but it wasn't like accumulated or anything. It was just coming down a little bit, and you got hit hard. Yeah.
We texted that whole way how angry I was about the late start we got because I knew that was going to happen. But,
I remember we were drinking in the hotel bar when I think you were coming down. I was like, we've been here for a few hours.
It all worked out in the end, but
great game. It's a good game.
Yeah,
Jesus.
if
great game.
we're dedicated to go into this game, try to book the Hilton. That's directly across the street. And
actually, you know what?
It just fills up real fast.
Get tickets now. I mean, if you're going, get tickets and get hotel now, because maybe you get it cheaper before it goes. I'm sure it'll go up. This
maybe one of us should get 6 tickets and we all sit together.
Yeah, they have
7 tickets. Austin.
Oh, apparently Austin wants to go. Yeah,
they have a top shelf area there, kind of like Enterprise, but it was longer, and there was a shit ton of people there. It was like 3 people deep the whole way across this counter. It was like 3 times as big as the counter space at Enterprise, and there were 5 times as many people there at Enterprise. It would have been cool to watch the game from there, to stand and watch, but I was like, no, it's way too many people.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked where we sat in the lower bowl. Try to get those again.
All right. FY April 2nd is Palm Sunday. Make sure you get to church. Chris Bray says, Chris, make sure to do that. The day after the game.
I don't know what Palm Sunday is.
You're obviously not a lapsed Catholic.
I am not.
Palm Sunday is not just a Catholic thing. It's a Christian thing, right? Just all denominations.
Well,
I don't
apparently
think it's all, but
it's Church of Christ. I know that because it was a thing when I was. Now we celebrate it differently than Catholics do, but we didn't. I don't think we brought out palms and laid them down the aisle in church. Back in my church days,
Catholic and Protestant, apparently, which I was neither growing up.
Oh, it's more than that though. And it's
Are you telling me the internet is lying to me?
I'm
Is that
telling
what you're saying?
you, I grew up Church of Christ, and we had Palm Sunday. So it probably covers a number of Christian denominations.
What does it celebrate?
The big palms.
Jesus took a vacation to the Bahamas and laid under a palm tree.
Wasn't that yeah? Wasn't it rising from the grave? Was that Palm Sunday?
No. You're all wrong.
What is it?
According to the internet, it is honoring Jesus Christ's victorious entry into Jerusalem.
That's right, because they laid palms down. That's right. Okay.
Yep.
It's been a long time since I've been in church.
And this has been Church Talk with Kurt, Jeff, and Bill.
This is like the most cultural show that we've ever done. Geography and religion.
There's people listening to the podcast saying
that are never gonna listen
like yelling at their phone or their radio or wherever they're listening to. I was like, you idiots! What Palm Sunday is? You know what Palm Sunday is? No, I don't. I stopped caring a long time ago. Sorry. Thanks, Chris. You're welcome. Austin Lynch says, which section is the Predators diehard fan section? It's 313, right? He's right.
I
Yeah,
think
pretty
he's
sure.
right. I'm
Pretty sure he's
checking
right.
now. I'm pretty sure 303.
303. That's right.
303.
So it's I didn't remember hearing. Did you remember hearing 303, Bill, when we were there?
All I remember hearing there was, I didn't think people outside of Nashville could buy tickets to this game. This is stupid. Why are there so many Blues fans here?
What was the name that you said the guy behind you kept getting wrong?
Russo. It was
Russo.
Russo. Yeah.
That's right. Rene Russo and Net.
You suck.
Ville Russo. Yeah, there was actually a really nice fan in front of us. He was asking us questions about why Bennington wasn't playing, stuff like that, and he was very. But he was a nice guy. He was telling us about he's a season ticket holder, and he was just real nice to talk to. And most Nashville fans we talked to were great, super great.
Right. Yeah. The people right around us who were all season ticket holders, and they were great. It was funny because they were questioning us like we were new hockey fans. Like, wait, do you know who I am? You're in Nashville. I went to my first Blues game in 1979. Your team, nobody would have ever thought there was a hockey team here until 2000. So that was kind of funny. But no, there were just a few drunk idiots like in every arena.
Yep.
A couple rows behind us, that was the guy that was yelling Russo sucks or Russo you suck. But
man, the bars after the game went out, holy shit, they were so packed. So packed.
With Blues fans.
It was great.
The best.
And it was funny and all night long too, because we went from bar to bar, and every bar, if you've never been, every bar in Nashville has a band playing or someone singing. It's and they take requests, right? And whenever
everywhere you went, Gloria.
Yeah. Whenever the Blues are in town, they commented this. They say whenever the Blues are in town, all the Blues fans request Gloria, and none of those fuckers knew how to play Gloria. But a couple of them said we're gonna learn how to play it for next year because we get so many requests for Gloria.
So we have to go back and test them.
Right. It's funny because we asked for Gloria one time, and she laughed. She goes, "That's like the 5th request for Gloria we've had today, and it's from Blues fans and it happens every time you guys are here."
So learn it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Be a good host.
Yeah, it was the bar with the Cadillac hanging on the wall. That's the one that the one of the singers said that she was going to learn it for next year. I don't know if they always play there, that specific bar or what, but that's the bar I was in when she said that.
Something tells me there's a lot of band turnover at bars in Nashville.
Probably, but what we found out during the game that everybody can fucking sing in that town.
Damn straight.
That military guy.
Oh my god, he killed it with I Believe in a Thing Called Love.
That's a hard song to sing.
That was one of the best performances I've seen.
I wasn't paying attention, and I thought they were pumping it in through the speakers. The actual song. He did a great job.
Yeah.
I looked up. I'm like, that's a guy singing.
And he's wearing
Crazy.
camouflage.
Right. In the military. So weird. Don't ask, don't tell. All right. Let's shut her down. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's tasty hockey-themed beer. Check out your local beer vendors for availability. That's Center Ice Brewery beer. Please drink responsibly. That will wrap up episode 2 of season 11 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you, which is a lot. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at fourth. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number 1. Now there's no more blues for